Yeah, good evening. So yesterday we learned few basic things about TypeScript. TypeScript architecture we discussed, and TypeScript language basics in that variables and data types. In data types, few changes I have to tell. Already we discussed about how to create strongly typed and how we can define union of types. Why we need union of types. We were discussing about array type. Array types, as we learned, purpose of array, reducing overhead complexities. Actually, TypeScript array, TypeScript array can be configured to store various types of values or similar type. We can do that. So how we can do it? Just we can keep some categories. It is what type? String type. If it is an array, then we have to just keep it meta character. And in that we can store some values. You can configure meta character, or so we can say LET categories. I will say suppose some products. Products is we have a string type, and we can use new array. We can use array constructor. Already you know, array can be initialized with memory by using array meta character and array constructor. This is same type. Suppose if you want array to handle various types, simple. What we do? LET values. We can use any type array. Am I right? Any type array means you can handle any type of values. But here one important point is there. That means now TypeScript array can behave in two ways: handling similar type values, handling various type values. For various types of values, we use any type. But here key concept is, if anybody asked you a question like, what is difference between array meta character and array constructor? What do you say? What is difference between array meta character and array constructor? That means what is difference between this? So categories, string type, memory is initialized like this, and memory is initialized new array. What is difference? Difference between meta character and constructor. That means here, let's open the project. I'm using here React TypeScript. And here you see, so I am configuring array. Now the question is, this is JavaScript. Yeah, I am saying LET values is any type array, and we have array meta character. Or LET some categories is a string type array, and here you can define meta character, or you can say new array. My question is, what is difference between both? What is difference between here? Suppose I am using any type. Okay, what is difference between these two? Array meta character and array constructor. What do you say? array meta character and array constructor. What is difference? So what do you say? No? About this? Any idea? So dynamically, then what is this purpose of this one? Both situations are used for initializing memory for array. Right? In both situations, memory is initialized for array. The difference here is important is array constructor will not allow various type of various types of values to initialize even when the type is any. Even when the type is any. That means array constructor will not allow various types of values to initialize even when the type is any. Then what is data type? So the data type of values is determined according to it is determined according to first value. The data type of values is determined according to the first value. This is one very important one. Whereas meta character, actually, this meta character allows various types of values. If data type is any. If data type is any, it will allow various types of values. So if data type is any, it allows various types of values. That is. So array will not allow various types of values. Array constructor. Remember, here you need to be very clear in understanding. Actually, I am talking about initialization, not assignment. This is the rule for initialization, not for assigning. Assigning, you can assign any. But initialization, you cannot initialize different values, same type of values. For example, see now, both are any type. Now into this, I am passing 10, I am passing true, so I am passing string, all are allowed. In the next, I am using here 10 and I am passing true, it's not allowed. So you can see, suppose A, like this we are defining. This is not allowed actually. This is not allowed. You will get an error at runtime. What's the error you will get at runtime? Runtime you will get an error that this array constructor, see, observe, its a type, what is defined? Its type is defined as number. Its type is defined as number. So these will be invalid actually. These values will not work. It will show error. That means this type is recognized as number because depending on the first type. Suppose I am giving the first one is string. Am I right? You can see automatically others have problem. It says Boolean is not assignable because it is string type. Right? That means the first one is number. The first one is number. Now you can see Boolean is not assignable because it's number type. It will get you those errors. So, but here it is allowed. There is no problem. So it is about only initialization, not assignment. Assignment, you can assign various types. That is the reason. One more question you will get here is, so Another question is, what is a tuple? What is a tuple? In TypeScript based interviews, this is very common. So tuple is nothing but it refers to an array that can handle various types of values. It can handle various types of values. It refers to an array that can handle various types of values. That means if an array is handling various types of values, then it is referred as tuple. Means how to create a tuple? By using the type as any. By using the type any, you can define a tuple. So this is what you have to know about array declarations, right? I don't need to tell you about array manipulation because array manipulation methods are same. Same JavaScript methods are same here. That means declaring array only one point. Another concept is here. See, another important you should know. So means I will give syntaxes here. How we can declare already given above. Yeah, already given above. So here syntax is just let. So values is any type and it is new array. It is just empty. This is tuples. We call them tuple. That means it will allow to initialize any type of value and it will allow to assign any type of value. It should allow initializing and assigning both. Then it is referred as a tuple. So suppose you return as new array, it is not tuple. Why? Because it will allow to assign, but it will not allow to initialize. It will not allow to initialize. That is the reason this is only referred as a tuple, right? That is. So that is one thing you have to know about array. Another important point you should know is TypeScript. TypeScript supports union of types. Union of types for array. For array also you can use union of types. Already we learned union of types yesterday. So TypeScript supports union of types for array also. For array also you have union of types. That means what you can do. So we can create a collection here. So let collection, and this collection can be a string type array or it can be a number type array. You can define like this. Means what? Suppose I am keeping 10 and I am keeping A, I am keeping 20. Is it valid like this? No, it is not like this. It means that either it can be all string or it can be all number. It doesn't mean that it is a mixture of string and number, right? So that is actually union of types. That means either it can handle strings or it can handle numbers, right? Initializing that is very important, right? You can configure array. You can configure array with union of types, but it should able to handle that either all string, either all array. Number like this we can define. So this is TypeScript, and one more point is all array methods are same as in JavaScript. So no change in array methods. I hope you know all array methods now. Array methods. What are the various array methods? For reading, for adding, for removing, for searching. So many array methods are there. All array methods are same as JavaScript. Like what are the array methods? For reading, what are the array methods we have? Usually for reading, we have the array methods like, so toString is a method. So we have like join is a method. We have like slice is a method, right? So these are the methods. So for reading, we have find method, we have filter method. These are all used for reading values from an array. So then insert, for insert we have like push, We have like unshift. We have like splice. We can use splice also. For remove, we have the options like pop. So we have like shift. We have like again splice. Splice is used for both remove and all. So we can use for sorting. We have options like sort. We have like reverse, right? So for that, other options like suppose we have others. Just I will keep others like index of, right, last index of. So we have length properties, right? All these array functions are same, no change. Whatever array methods you have learned in JavaScript, same array methods are used. Only the way of declaration is different. Declaring and initializing values into array is different. That is only the thing you have to learn. The rest of options are same. Everything is similar. Okay. Okay. Next. So we don't need to much concentrate on these because already we know them in JavaScript. Another one, non-primitive types, we have an object type. Object type, actually there is no specific data type for object. There is no specific data type for object. So any is used for object. Any is used for object. There is no specific data type for object. Any is used for object. That means how to declare objects in TypeScript. So same how you done with your JavaScript, right? Only the point is, so here there is no specific data type. You have to use any. That means what we have to do. So for example, here I have to create an object. So LET product is an any type of object. You know that objects are defined in the curly brace and block, and you have a name and we have some name. We have some price and we have some price, right? We have like stock. So this is true or false. You have like cities. So this is an array. So we have like rating, right? So this is again an object. You can have any complex. So there is no specific data type. You have to mention the type as any. That is only the thing. How to access the object, how to use the object, everything same, no change. The object related manipulations are same as in JavaScript. Nothing change. That means accessing the values from an object, assigning the values, configuring the functions in an object, everything same. You know that object can have a function also, like total. Total is nothing but it is a function and it have to do some functionality because object can contain both properties and functions. So working with object is same as you have done in your JavaScript. Only the additional thing is you have to define the data type as any. There is no specific data type for object. And technically one more thing is array of objects also used with any type. Understood? That means any type. Array of objects means LET products. Products is any type array. And in this we have array of objects. Am I right? Already we know that this is array of objects that we configure with any on. That means if you have to deal with a array of objects, then we have to configure in this way. These concepts are same. There is no change in that, right? We have to use the same concepts. So technically, arrays, array declarations, array manipulations, object declaration and manipulations. One more important is we have map type. In JavaScript, you have map type. Here also we have map type. Same here, any Any is used. Any is used for map. For map. Any is used for map. I hope you learnt about the map types in JavaScript, right? So actually, uh, map is a collection of key and values, same like object. Then in many interviews they ask the question is, what is difference between map and object? Because object is also a collection of key and values, and map is also a collection of key and values. So in JavaScript we have objects and maps. In TypeScript also we have same, all of them similar. Data types same, only the point is declaration. Map is defined with any type. That means generally, what is the difference between map and object? So you can see here, maps are defined in this way. For example, I'm using let some so obj is equal to new, obj is what type, any is equal to new map. We configure like this. Now this is a map, this is new. Actually, what is difference between map and objects? That's a very popular question asked these days in all technologies where TypeScript is used. Of course, it is a part of JavaScript only. But what is difference between object and map is actually object and map. Difference is nothing but usually object keys are string. Keys are string type. All keys are string type. Map keys are any type. In an object, you can have only string type keys. But in a map, you can have any type key. A number key also can be there. Key can be a number or a string. Here it can be only string type keys. And very important, so many other things about this is, so value is any type, and here also value is any type of values. But keys are string type. Here keys are any type. Another important difference between object and map is actually object needs explicit uh, iterators. It needs explicit iterators for reading keys and values. Values, it needs explicit iterators. Object needs explicit iterators, so for reading keys and values. Explicit iterators means you have to use for in, like iterate, in order to read all the keys and values you need. But here map is, it have implicit iterators. Implicit iterators, it have like keys, it have like values, it have like entries. These are nothing but they are used to read all keys, read all values, read all keys and values. So you, without using explicit iterators, you can simply read all the keys and values. For that we have ready-made methods like keys, like values, like entries. These are the ready-made methods that makes that is, it is slow. So because of these internal iterators, it is fast. So maps are faster in access because they use implicit iterators. Objects are slow. So when compared to map, another important point here is generally in an object, so needs, it needs explicit operators to find and remove keys. To find and remove explicit operators, explicit iterators, explicit operators. Now, if I ask you a question like how to delete a property of object, object have two properties, name and price. How to delete price? How to delete any property of an object in JavaScript? For that, JavaScript have delete operator. How to verify whether a property is there or not? How to verify whether a property is there or not? For that, we have to use in operator. We need explicit operators. But what is advantage here is it provides implicit methods. Implicit methods. That means it have methods like has, it have options like delete, it have option like clear, which are used for deleting the keys, verifying the keys easily. Implicit methods. Here we have no size for keys. Here keys can configure size. That means we have a size property which will tell how many keys are there. How many keys are there? We can even number of keys in a collection of object. That is actually the major differences between keys and values. The difference between object and map, right? So map is not a new concept. Map is there in JavaScript. So, but what are the differences between maps and objects? Very frequently asked. So that is because of latest version of JavaScript used for TypeScript. They have to ask these latest points. So this is general, means how the difference is. This is difference. Actually, what we do here, we have obj.set. So obj.set. Set. We have key and we have to put a value. Key can be number type. So obj.set. Key can be a string type. Key can be a string type. You can put any value, which is not possible in object. Object has only string types. We can easily use obj.delete and we can delete a key. We can verify obj.has. So has a or not, we can verify. Actually, this returns true or false. So we can get the size, how many keys are present. This and obj.get, we can get any specific value of any key. We can access the values under the reference of key by using this. These are all general operations. So map allows you to configure all this. That is the reason maps are very popularly used in modern JavaScript programming if they have to deal with different types of keys and values. But if you are expecting a schema-based data with standard, keys must be only string. Because when you are dealing with JSON type, already you know, JSON type means all keys must be string on. If you are dealing with JSON type data, then it must be string type. So, right. So this is difference between map and key. And we don't have any specific data type for maps. We have to just use what is there any. Right. So that is one option. Next question here is, in TypeScript, how to store date type. In script, how to store date type. What is the data type for date? There is no specific data type. Again, any. Any is used for date. So date and time. Date and time values also any. And how date is stored, you know already. How date is stored, how date is accessed, right? We don't have any special data type for dates in TypeScript. Any is used for date, right? That means if you have to store a date value, then you have to use any as type. So what we do, let some MFD manufactured and into that I want to store a date, then mention the data type as any is equal to new date. And you know that new date will store the current date. If you want, you can store any specific date in a string format using year, month, and day format. Year, month, day format like this I defined here. Year, month, day. And time I have to give in a 24-hour format. Suppose 2010. That's how we need to configure date and time. So in order to store date and time values, you have to use any as type. There is no specific data type, we have to use any. And all date manipulations, date and time methods are same. Methods are same, no change. Means you know date time methods, na? Get hours, get minutes, get seconds, get month, get date, get time, get day. We have set hours, set minutes. Get and set date methods are same, right? All date and time methods are same as in JavaScript. So there is no change in date. Only the point is data type. What the data type must be defined as any. Date methods means you know already. What are those? Get hours, get minutes. We have get seconds, get seconds. We have like get milliseconds, we have get date, we have like get day, we have like get months, we have like get full year. These are all the options. These are all the options. And similarly you have set options also. Similarly we have set hours and all others, right? Set hours, set minutes, set seconds. We have set date, set month, set year. We don't have set day because day is weekday. We don't set weekdays. Weekdays will be automatically determined by date. So these are all the options for date and time manipulations. Same as in JavaScript. Type you have to mention is any. Okay. Then what else data types you deal in JavaScript? Number, string, boolean, null, undefined, finished, array, object, array of objects, dates, maps, finished. Anything else? Regular expression is there. Regular expression type. Regular expression type. Regular expression types also we use regularly, right? And again, there is no data type for regular expressions if you are writing. We have to use what? Any. Any for regular expression. There is no specific data type for that. We have to use any as type. So we need to use any as type for regular expression also. Same concept. So that means what we do here, we have to use any for regular expression. That means how do we write regular expression? LET. And you know that regular expression is any, it is enclosed in double slash. Right, slash plus 91, so 0-9 and 10 digits number like this. This is regular expression type. Means we use regular expressions to verify the pattern of values and all. And we don't have any data type. Again, we have to use any. So regular expressions are same. And you know that. So regular expression, it is verified. It is verified by using which method? Match. Regular expressions are verified by using the match method. That means all string functions are same as in JavaScript. String functions means char, at, index of, last index of, slice, trim, all the string functions, whatever split string functions, whatever there, all are same. So regular expression type means how to store regular expressions and use them here. Everything same, no change. So data types, now we are clear. Variables, data types. And TypeScript operators. So same, so as JavaScript, same JavaScript operators only, and the TypeScript statements same as JavaScript. So no change. So there is no change in operators and statements. Our operators are, we have arithmetic operators, we have comparison operators, so we have logical operators, we have assignment operators, we have bitwise operators, so we have special operators. Am I right? All these are the operators. And whatever JavaScript operators are there, TypeScript operators also same, no change. Statements also same. We have selection statements. Selection statements means if, else, switch. Am I right? Switch, case, default, all these are selection. We have looping control statements. We have like for, while, do while, all these are looping control statements. So we have iteration statements. Iteration like for in, we have like for off, these are iteration statements. And we have jump statements like break, return, and continue, all these are same. And we have exception handling statements, try, catch, throw, finally, all these are same. There is no change in operators and statements. Whatever JavaScript operators and statements are there, same here also. So nothing to learn newly about operators and statements. Now functions, some changes there. TypeScript functions are similar to JavaScript, so with few changes, right? Few changes. So few changes, all are similar to JavaScript, only few changes. What are the changes is TypeScript function. So function is configured with data type. Configured with type. Actually, we can say configured with type. Additionally, function is configured with type. And very important, function parameters also use type. Function parameters also use type. That means, so I will give two options here. One is, suppose you are creating a function called add. This function have to return a number. Then its type should be defined as number. And this function parameters, we have a and its data a and b. It's not accepting now because it is expecting type. A should be what type? It should be number. B should be what type? Number. It should return number. That means you have to define return this A plus B. It should return number. This is the return types. And if you are writing a function, so if you are writing a function without any return type, you have to configure as void. If no return type, then it is designated as void. If a return type, then you have to define return. That means here I am just using like console.log. So addition is equal to, so add, and into the 10, 20 like this we are defined. So this is a function without any return type, and here the function with parameters type and the function with the return type. This is not required in general JavaScript, and here we have to define the types. When you define the function, you have to mention the return type. If you don't mention the return type, its type will be taken as void. We can make it strongly typed for returning only string, only number, like that we can configure. So that is very important. This is example, right? If anybody asked you, can a question like, can we define a function that can return various types. Can a function can return various types like number and string? That means can we use a union? We can. So it is possible, right? That means you see here, suppose very important here when you are configuring here, I'm not using any parameters. Means I'm not defining any parameters, or I am just using here. So here I am configuring A as any type. Now here it can be number or it can be string. If it is number or string, that means here, suppose union, I am giving a number or I am giving a string. Union, that means here we can write accordingly. That means what we can do if A, so that means we have type of operator, type of A, that means we are configuring that type of A. So type of A is equal to what type? So it is a number type. That means it is a number. If it is a number, then what it should return? It should return some number, right? It should return some number. And any number you can use. Else, so it should return some string. So I have to define like string. Right, you can configure with multiple types. That means it will return a number, means 0. It will return a string. You can configure with multiple types. So these kind of questions we can expect. So because usually they ask that because to know your level of experience in TypeScript, that you know everything about TypeScript or not. So because sometimes people learn TypeScript only for what they need for React. In that case, a lot of things are missing in TypeScript, right? And sometimes they need such concepts to use in the React. Then they face problems. That's the reason little bit you have to know depth about TypeScript. So various consequences you need to understand how they are defined. So this is various return types you can configure multiple. One more specialty is there here. Actually, TypeScript function can have optional parameters. TypeScript function can have optional parameter. Actually, you know that in JavaScript, every parameter is mandatory. Compulsory, na? You know that every parameter is mandatory. In JavaScript, every function parameter is mandatory. But you can make the parameter optional. For example, see, I am writing a function. So print details, or say product details is a function. This product details function is having ID and it is having name. ID is number type and the name is a string type. We need to access and use it, right? That means I will print console.log. So I will print name ID. ID is equal to whatever the ID they pass. In the next line, I will use name is equal to whatever the name they pass. So now here, the point is I am accessing product details. Into the product details, I am passing that ID only. And this is not passed, name is not passed, then it will show error. Because it is expecting 2 arguments and you are passing only 1. But now I can make it this parameter optional just by using a null reference character question mark. That is optional. That makes optional. Already you know that question mark is a meta character. 0 or question mark indicates 0 or 1 occurrence, right? 0 or 1 occurrence. Question mark indicates 0 or 1 occurrence. It is a null reference character. That means it can be 0 times or it can be 1 time. So actually, this is new. This is new and very important. Then what it will print name now? If name is not supplied, it will print undefined. It is not supplied, then it will print undefined. So here we have to write logic like this. If any optional parameter you mentioned, you have to verify if name is equal to what? Undefined. Then don't print name. Console.log, you print only id. id is equal to that id. If name is not, if it is defined, then print both of them. If any optional parameter you are using, you have to manage in this way. Right now, how to test this? To test this, you are writing a TypeScript file. It's not necessary to run this TypeScript file every time. You see, I'm using console log. Console log means you can try this in command line. Command line. Just open this file location in command prompt. Right click. Open in integrated terminal. That means it will open the terminal. In this, you have to transcompile. So TS, we learn transcompiler na? TSC, what is the program name? TSC index.ts. Automatically, it will generate a JavaScript file. You can see it generates the JavaScript file. Now, you can connect this JavaScript file to your HTML page and test there. Or if you written the program in such a way that it is not using any DOM methods, only console methods, then you can test in terminal itself. How? By using a node compiler, node index.js. JavaScript files you can directly run through node compiler and test it. So if it is not having DOM methods, if you have using document write, alerts, confirm, get element by ID, you can't test here. You have to test in HTML only. So here you can test now. Node, you can see it's working. It is showing only ID. So now whenever you do any modification into it, then what I am doing here, I am passing 10 and I am passing some mobile. And whenever you do modification, every time you have to transcompile first. TSC.ts. After transcompiling, node index.js. Now you will get both of them. So optional parameters are important actually. Optional parameters are important. And these were not there earlier, but here you have to know that TypeScript supports optional parameters. But some rules are there here. One important rule. This is an example. So TypeScript can have optional parameters. But one basic rule is there. So here the rule is nothing but note. You cannot, a required parameters, I will give A, okay? A required parameter cannot follow optional parameter. A required parameter cannot follow optional parameter. Anywhere required parameter cannot follow optional parameter. That means all optional parameters must be last. Parameters must be the last parameters. All optional parameters must be the last parameters. So that means you see here in the formal list, we have two parameters. One is ID, another name. I have another parameter price, which is a number type. So it is not, because price is a required parameter and name is an optional parameter. After optional parameter, required parameter cannot follow. So that is problem. That means price also must be optional or price must be before name. Right? You see that is the error here actually. So a required parameter cannot follow an optional parameter. Right? That means you can make it as optional or keep it before name. That is the point, right? So this is the rule actually. This is rule. That means if you configure any function like this, I'll just give the syntax like this. If you configure any function like this is invalid. That means I will just give here. So product details, we are defining like this syntax. Yeah. We are this, now this is invalid. Understand? Why? Because this is a required parameter and it is following the optional parameter. That is not valid. The right way of configuring this will be this one. The right way will be like remove this one and keep here. That will be the right way. Understood? That means optional parameter must be at the end. This is valid. This is about function parameters. That means function and parameters. This is the new thing in functions. Nothing else. Now, very important, all JavaScript function basics are same here, are same in TypeScript also. In TypeScript, that means what? So function can have closure, am I right? So function can have a promise, function promises, function closures, and what else you learned? REST parameters, am I right? REST parameters. You learned about REST parameters in JavaScript functions, and you know about anonymous functions, huh? Anonymous functions. You know about arrow functions, am I right? Arrow functions. All these are same. No change. That means everything else about whatever you learned about function is same. Only the point is return type, data type, optional parameters. Only these are the changes in the functions in TypeScript, right? So that is all the basic of language basic. Now what is the change here is, that means variables. So let me give you the summary. So language basic summary: variables, data types, operators, statements, and functions. These comes under language basics. In that, few changes you observed and we learned them, right? Variables, no changes. Data types have few changes. Variable declaration have some changes. With the data type you have to mention. Operator statements, no changes. Functions have changes. In data type, arrays, objects, dates, regular expressions, how to manage them, we have learned. We don't have any specific data type for them. We have to use any. Now, what is so very much new about TypeScript is in its object-oriented approach. In TypeScript, object-oriented programming, right? We need to understand this very well first. So actually, JavaScript is not a OOP language, but it supports some features of OOPs. Like we have object, we have class, we have polymorphism, we have inheritance. All these are there in JavaScript also, but not a complete OOP language because a lot of deficiency is there. That means features are not supported specially, which you will see now. In object-oriented programming, so first you need to know about the concept called, you need to know about, in OOP, you have to know about contracts. In object-oriented programming, we have to first understand about contracts. So contracts. So what are contracts? How the contracts are defined? What is the role of a contract in OOP languages? Let's see. Actually, I will give one general example. First, take one general example. I hope we already discussed at one occasion, right? General example is, you are a developer and you are assigned with a role. You are a developer in a company. You are assigned with a role of, so design database. You given the role of designing database for some client requirements. Huh? So you have to design a database for the business requirements for your project. Your role is to design database. Now the question is, what is the reference given to you for designing database? What is the reference that you see and design database? What are the references used by a database designer for designing database? What is the reference? That means what table to create, what fields to create, from where you will see and design. What is the reference given to you? What do you say? Question understood? You have to design a database for a project. For that, what is the reference given to you? By saying that you have to design. What is the reference given to you? To design database, what is the reference given to you? What do you say? What is the reference for designing database? No. So the reference for a developer for designing database is, generally we call them as database models. Database models. These are the references given to a developer to design database. And what are models? We have conceptual model. We have physical model. We have logical model. We have entity model. So a developer designs database not just through imagination or not documentation. We don't call documentation, right? We have because we need database models, right? By using these models, we design, right? What are these models? So we have conceptual model, physical model, logical model, entity model. What is conceptual model? That means I will tell you the hierarchy first. As a developer, means first what we do to design database for any project. First, we will identify what are the modules that need data. That means in a project there are 20 modules, but all modules doesn't need data. Data is required only for few modules. So which module needs data? We will identify that first. That is called conceptual model. That means we will prepare first a conceptual model. What is present in a conceptual model? In a conceptual model, we will mention about the modules that need data. Usually a conceptual model looks like this. I will show you a sample project here. Usually a conceptual model looks like this. This is how a conceptual model looks like. A conceptual model contains information about the modules that needs data. First, we will design this. After designing this, a review team will review this. We have a review team that will review this. The team will verify that we are not missing any module. We are not using any additional module which is not required. Once the review team says that, okay, this is good, we can go with this. Then our team will design a physical model. After conceptual model, we design a physical model. What is in physical model? In physical model, we will tell what should be the table name, what should be the fields in every module, what should be their type. That means table name, field name, data type is defined in physical model. A physical model contains table name, field name, data types, and everything. That means module, what should be the table name? In the table, what are the fields to be there? And in that fields, what the types? Now, again, a review will happen on this, and our review team will verify that we are not missing a field, we are not mismatching any data types, we are not using anything additional fields, right? Everything is reviewed, and once it is verified, if our review team says that it is good, final, according to client requirements. Then we will prepare logical model. In logical model, we will identify relationship between the tables. We will identify the relationship. That means, is any module having relation with another module? Which relation it is having? That means, first, identify the modules that need data. Second, mention the tables, field names, and data types. Third, configure the relationship. Now, again, review will happen. They will verify we are not mismatching the relations. We are not missing the relations. And it is final. Then our team will prepare an entity model. This is called ER diagram. This entity model contains table name, field name, data type, relationship, everything. This is the contract given to a developer to design database. Understood? So what is this entity model? It is a contract given to a developer to design database for the project. Why it is called contract? Because he must design exactly what is given here. No extra, no deficiency. You can't even give a suggestion like, sir, we will put red color, we will try green color. No, we don't need your suggestions. We don't need your suggestions and we don't need your creativity. You just do what is given to you. You have to follow a contract. That's it. Right? You cannot mismatch anything outside this. So that means you cannot do anything outside this. This is the contract. So in real-time programming, to design every component, there must be a contract. In real-time project development, to design every component, there must be a contract. You cannot simply design like that because some other developer will add a new field into it. And you have to have a contract. You have to have a contract. For example, now I am designing LET product is an object. Object, it is any type. Object means any type. In this we are defining. So this is name. And in this name, we are giving some string, Samsung TV. Okay. We have price. The price is some number. And we have stock. Stock is some boolean. Now see here, somebody have given here as electronics. It's taking. How it can take? It should not take. So that means there must be certain contract rule for this. And how we design contract? Actually, what is a contract? Contract defines rules. Defines rules for designing any component in object-oriented programming. In object-oriented programming, contract defines rules for designing any component. And how contracts are designed? Contracts are designed by using interface. If anybody asks you, what is the purpose of interface in OOP language? Then what is your answer? In general, if anybody asks you, you learn some OOP language, what is the purpose of an interface in OOPs? That is what you learned now. Interfaces are used for designing contracts. I am speaking architectural terms, not learning terminology. I don't care about what you learn in your OOP language. Architecturally, the purpose of an interface in real world projects is to design contracts. That's it. Simple, straightforward. It is used to design contracts. What is contract? Contract contains rules. It defines rules. Right? It defines rules for your component. That means you see now, I am designing a contract. How to design a contract? Interface name, any name. I will give product contract. Any name you can give. And what are the rules? Name must be a string type, and price must be a number type, and the stock must be a Boolean type. Just rules. Remember, a contract can contain only rules. A contract can contain only rules. That means here we can define syntactically. So interface and interface name, and here you can define only rules. Rules. That means you can configure only rules. That means remember, contract cannot define implementation. That means contract cannot define values. Contract cannot define values. So contract can contain only structure. Contract can contain only structure, no values. That means you cannot say that string name is equal to 2. This is not allowed. Only rule. That means only structure. And this contract should be used by this product now. Then we will remove this any and we will make that to use product contract. Now we have problems. That means now an object is designed as per the contract, and what is there in contract, you have to do exactly that. Nothing extra, nothing missing. That means now name is string type, it's okay. Price is not taken because it says that string is not assignable, its type is number. Who says that? Contract says that. And as per the contract, it must be a number. It must be a number. And this stock must be a strict Boolean. It must be true or false. And very important, in this contract, you mentioned a quantity as a number. And again, you have a problem. Because as per contract, every product must have quantity and you don't have it. It's an error. What is mentioned in contract, it must be there. What is not mentioned in contract, it cannot be there. It cannot be there. For example, now why it is showing error? It is saying that quantity is missing. Quantity is missing. So we are writing here quantity as 2. I am writing extra here rating as 4.3.5. It's not taking. It says that as per the contract, rating is not a member, doesn't exist. So that is why it is contract. What is there in contract, just do that. There can be nothing other than contract. So how you design contracts in OOP languages, that is done by using interface. If anyone asks at experience level, what is purpose of interface? Where we use interfaces in OOPs? Simple, one word answer. Interfaces are used for contracts. That's it. Contract, that's it, nothing else, only contracts, right? So, and so many things are there. That means it can contain only structure, right? Now, so many points are there. Now, here you see, now actually in the contract, again, same concept. You can define rules. You can define rules for properties and methods. Currently, we are defining rules only for properties because all these are properties only. Now. We are not mentioning rules for methods. We are currently defining only for properties. We can define rules for methods also. That means how? Suppose I said there can be total method, total function. What this total function have to do? It should return a number. That is the rule. In that case, here again problem. As per the rule, you have to implement. That means you have to write total. Total is a function and this function should return number, compulsory. Because it says that it is currently void, but it should return number. right? Because as per the contract, it should return number. That means we have to return this dot quantity into this dot price. It should return a number. Suppose I defined print. Print is a method which is void type. Now, as per that contract, we have to design a print, and this print is a function. This function without any return. You can put console log and all the details to print here. That means a contract can contain rules for both properties and methods. Only structure, only rules, no implementations. So that is important. A contract can contain rules for properties and methods. This is example. And very important here is a contract can contain optional rules. If every rule is mandatory, then why you can have an optional rule? Some rules can be optional, right? Now, the question asked is like, for example, see, in a contract, we have category. Category is a string type. It is currently showing error because category need to be implemented, mandatory, and you are not implementing it. As per the contract, category is required, but I can make it a optional by using question mark. We can make any method also optional using question mark. Now the question here is, why a contract can have optional rules? Because rules means mandatory. Na? Why you are saying that you can ignore some? Why a contract can have optional rules? This is a very valid question. Contract supports optional rules. Why? Why there must be optional rules? Actually, optional rules are nothing but, generally why we need optional rules? Because remember, every module or every module or project comprises of two basic things. One is the objective and another one is goal. What is difference between objective and goal? Every project and module that you design for real world scenarios will have an objective and goal. What is difference between objective and goal? What do you say? What is objective? What is goal? What is difference between objective and goal? Technically, objective and goal is nothing but, suppose you say that your goal is to become a doctor. Will you become? Is it mandatory to become? May or may not. Goal is not always achievable. Goal is not always achievable. May or may not. Objective, it is mandatory to achieve. And it is time bound. Time bound. And it is mandatory to achieve. For example, we are designing a project for some red bus. So in this red bus application, you have some modules like bus availability. This is a module. We have like reservation. We have like live tracking. In these three modules, if any one module is not working, it's okay, fine. It's not a problem. Tell me which can be ignored. In this project, if any one is not working, it's okay, fine. It's not a problem. Which can be ignored? So you cannot ignore bus availability. That is the primary concept. Not ignore reservation. That is primary. So these two are objectives. You must achieve that. And they should work with a time bound. And live tracking, okay, it's not working, fine. We have alternative things. Our driver will call them, or we will send an alternative SMS. Right? That's okay. That's not fine. It's working very good. Right? Now, this is not an objective. This is a goal. Right? Modules are designed with certain objectives and you must achieve them. Compulsory. Otherwise, project fails. Right? That means goals are not mandatory. It's not working, that doesn't matter for us. If it is working, good. But it should not have errors. That is the point. Error is very important. Working or not, that depends, situation. That means why you are saying that there can be certain things you can ignore because they are representing goals. That means if user doesn't know the category of any product, that's okay, fine. But if he knows, that's good. It is easy for him to later search for that in that particular category. Right? That means I made this as optional. That means you can implement. But when you implement, you have to follow the rule, compulsory. That means you cannot say that category is optional, so then I can put some number into it. You cannot. If you are implement with some rules, the rules must be followed. So why you can have optional rules? So optional rules are used for designing goals. Right? So the purpose of optional rules, the optional rules are defined to configure goal of module. And we define that. So null reference character, that is question mark, is used, right, for optional members. We use null reference character. And this is the example, just a syntactical point I am giving here. Right? We have in the rules, we have print as optional, category as optional. So you can have optional rules. So interfaces are used to design contracts. And very important, so you can have, that means rules. You can configure read-only rules. You can configure read-only rules. Read-only rules means here we initialized the price of product. Once we initialized the price of product, it cannot be changed. Right? Or name cannot be changed. But you can change price, stock, quantity, but name cannot be changed. But as of now, it allows. I'm accessing product.name. I can change it to Samsung LED curved TV, something like this. It will accept. Right? It will accept. That means you can assign a new value into it. But once the value is initialized, I should not allow to make it any change. I should not allow to change. Then you can mark this as read only. If you mark as read only, it allows you to initialize. But after that, it will not allow to assign. You can assign price. That means product. So product dot price, you can change the price. But you cannot change the name. So that means why you need a rule, so that it will not allow to change the values. Once initialized, they are fixed. So that is what actually the concept of read-only rules. We are configuring here read-only rules. That means this will be invalid. This is invalid because it is read-only. So name you once initialize, you cannot assign. Right? These are read-only rules. So a contract can have optional rules, can have read-only rules, can have rules for properties, can have rules for methods. A contract can be extended. Extending contracts, implementing contracts, lot of things are there that we'll see in our next session. Tomorrow we'll continue. Tomorrow we will have session so that we can cover most of the part of TypeScript. So tomorrow we will have the session. Okay, in tomorrow's session, we will discuss the other things about contracts and other OOP related features. Okay, tomorrow I'll continue.